Hi guys, welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of On Air with me, your host, Abigail Ratchford. So today is actually Valentine's Day, and that's ironic because today's episode is going to be about the most dreaded B word on the planet, which is breakups. How to navigate them, how to move on, and how to reemerge as your best self yet.
What's going on in Abigail's life? I'm so curious.
So before we get into everything about breakups, let's just catch up, what we've been up to, what I've been up to. So this past weekend, today is Tuesday? Mm-hmm. Today is Tuesday, but Saturday night, I actually celebrated my birthday, which was Sunday. It was on the Super Bowl, the 12th. And what did I do? Oh, I went to Casa Madera. Have you guys been?
No.
That's so good.
I've never tried. Where is it?
It's on Sunset. It's really, really good. It's like a high-end kind of Mexican restaurant, but it's brand new, so it's packed. It's like a scene.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was so fun. So me and just maybe like 6 of my girlfriends, we of course got all glammed up, got like all the paparazzi staged photos going in. Like, what? We didn't know you'd be here.
I saw your IG posts. They were so fire.
Thank you.
That outfit. Where was that outfit from?
I think it was Rev Boutique.
Cute.
The
so
jumpsuit.
Cute.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. That was a big hit.
Crowd favorite.
And then what else did we do? Oh, I made all these plans apparently when I was out Saturday night to go to like these Super Bowl parties the day after, and I ended up just sleeping the whole day. I was like, everyone was so hungover. After we went to the restaurant, we went to Off Sunset. Have you been? I've never. It's like a little like lounge club, I guess. And somebody bought us a table, and we have no idea who it was. The owner came over. He's like, "Where's the birthday girl?" I'm like, "Me." He's like, "Some guy over there just bought you guys this table." And we're like, "Where?" He's like, "I don't know. He's disappeared."
He left. He bought you a table.
If you're
and
watching
he left.
this, mystery man, thank you for that table. It came in handy that night. We all had so much champagne.
Oh my God. I love when that happens. When like
Yeah.
someone like does something really kind for you, act of kindness, and you just like they don't expect anything in
I
return.
know. Like they didn't want any kind of credit or anything. I'm like, who is this person lurking in the shadows?
Have you ever had someone like buy your meal for you in a drive-thru before?
Yes.
I think
my
so. At
gosh.
like Starbucks or something.
Yes. I used to always do that at coffee shops. I felt like such a good person. And then they'd be like, oh, they actually just got like a $20 like order. And I'm like, oh, as I'm paying for my like $2 like black coffee, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Just put it on the card.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny. And then that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think. I didn't do anything, like I said, for the Super Bowl. We got home pretty late Saturday night. I think my friends went to an after party, but I was just like, I always pulled the Irish exit. I'm like, guys, I'll be right back. I had to just use the bathroom. I'm like, see ya. Uber.
You're in your
have
bed
to.
10 minutes later. See you guys.
The Irish exit is the way to go.
Yeah,
every
I
time.
hate saying goodbye.
There's
Because then
too
it's a
many
whole
people.
thing.
Yeah.
You end up staying for an extra like half hour
Yeah.
just saying goodbye to everyone. And it's like, I could have been in bed by now.
I know. And
Literally.
then they try to like, somebody tries to convince you, just stay out a little bit longer. I'm like, no, I really don't want to.
The secret is waiting till they're drunk enough, and then you're like, I'll meet you at the next spot.
Oh, yeah.
And then you never do.
That's
and
a
they
good
never
idea.
follow up because they're too drunk. They forgot
They
about
forgot
it
all
already.
about it.
Yeah.
That's actually really smart. I think, yeah, so I think that's it. The
Yeah.
birthday.
Did you
Which was
watch
fun.
the Rihanna halftime show?
I didn't see it like in its entirety. I was kind of tuning in to like different, I don't know, parts
Yeah.
of it. But yeah, I mean, I heard it was great. She's pregnant, obviously, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Is it confirmed that she's pregnant though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw some
That was
people
a
being like,
surprise.
"Oh, is it like post baby? Is it like what's going
Didn't she
on?"
just have a baby like a day ago? Yeah.
I think she gave birth, I think her first baby was,
She's
I
had a baby.
believe, maybe May.
Yeah, like less than a year ago.
Was it?
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
I
10
looked it
months?
up because I was like, I felt like she had her baby like not even 3 months
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
and I was like, what? Like,
She
I was
must
so
have-
confused.
Yeah.
That was May.
They got right back
Damn.
into it. But you know what? A lot of people now, I'll say, are like, once they're the age where they can conceive and they know they're, you know what I mean? They're like,
Yeah.
let's just do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Just get them
I
all
have family
done.
like that. They're like, I knew I want 3 kids. I don't want to wait any longer. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just going to have the 3rd one now.
That's like my youngest brother and sister. They're Irish twins, so they're like 13 months apart.
Oh,
one is
okay.
in May and one's in June. So they're almost literally 12 months apart.
Wow.
One's in June. I
Oh my
know.
God, Gemini, love it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's iconic though. I
Yeah.
thought she did an amazing show. There was a lot of hate online.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because people really expected her to be pregnant and like breakdancing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
girl.
And if she was more like theatrical and dancing and stuff, people would say stuff about that too. Like,
Exactly.
she's not even worried about the safety of her unborn child.
Exactly.
It's like, no matter what,
Yeah.
people will talk shit. Like, you cannot make people happy.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
she was already suspended like 100 feet into the air. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
What else do you want?
she's doing a whole lot right now.
Harnesses, yeah, like floating over the ground.
It's insane. Oh my gosh. But yeah, crazy weekend for Abigail.
Yes, it was. I know my entire birthday was like completely overshadowed by the Super Bowl. So, because mine has never fallen. Usually the Super Bowl is like a weekend before mine. It's
Okay.
usually like February like 6th-ish kind of. And this year mine fell right on it. So many people were like, what are you doing this weekend? Like, and I was like, for my birthday? They're like, no, I meant for the Super Bowl. I'm like, well, it's my birthday too.
You're like,
That's more
come
important.
correct.
I'm like, oh yeah, that game that's on Sunday? No.
Yeah. Who's playing again?
That little football game.
That little game where the boys just run around. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so we're obviously filming on Valentine's Day. There's literally a chocolate fountain in a room like 2 feet away from us.
Oh my God.
But what's some advice on navigating breakups that like either you've experienced or the people around you have experienced, and like lessons you learned, stories you have? Like, give us the juice, give us the tea, help us in our journey of finding love.
Let me think. So I've been in a few I would say like long term for me is like 2 years.
Yeah.
That's very long.
Yeah.
Mine's like 3 months.
In this day and age,
Out in in LA, that's like very, very
that's
long.
like 10 years
It's
in
like a
LA time.
lifetime.
Yeah. I think I'm going to just maybe go off of my last relationship, which was like, that was the first time I ever lived with somebody. And I feel like that relationship, it didn't like end horribly or anything. We just ended up wanting two different lives kind of. And I feel like sometimes that could happen. Like we become a little bit too, maybe I'm speaking for everybody, but like as a woman, sometimes it's easy to kind of like put the other person before you and maybe
Absolutely.
put your own stuff like on the back burner, and you just kind of are like, I want to like, play like this like role and be the best girlfriend and stuff. And then you're like, fast forward a year, you're like, where the hell, like, where's Abigail? Where's my goals, my dreams? And it's not their fault. They're not telling you to like do this stuff. I feel like maybe for me, that was like the biggest lesson I learned in my last relationship is like, just to always kind of keep my own independence. And we definitely moved in way too soon.
Yeah.
Like that was, but it was kind of like the perfect storm of like, we started dating in February of 2020. So right before COVID, the world was shutting down.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my God.
fast forward to August, my lease is about to be up, and he lived in San Diego. So he would drive up to see me like 2 or 3 times a week. And then he's like, because everything was shut down at this point. August 2020, like it was like ghost town.
Yeah.
Nothing was going on. And he's like, what about if we just get a place together? I'm like, oh my God, this seems like it's like too soon. But again, it was like the mixture of the world and everything. And I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? Maybe like a little bit of stability would be like nice right now with all this like
Right.
uncertainty. So I moved down there. We got a place. And then it was just like the reality hit, like, oh my God, like I'm not living in LA anymore. I'm in San Diego. And then when things started to kind of reopen, it was like, okay, I had to drive back up to LA
Right.
for shoots and stuff. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
I feel like that happened a lot in COVID with a lot of couples that
Yeah.
like, maybe, I don't know the case for you, but could have worked out, but they
Yeah.
like kind of were in a weird place
Yeah.
in the world and in time where they maybe did rush in and move in together. And then they're like, oh, there's nothing, I can't leave the house.
Yeah.
Like there's no separation.
Yeah.
And is that like, and it's not to say you aren't great together, but it's just like, can this work? You didn't really get the same kind of timing that everyone else got
Yeah.
when you start a relationship during COVID.
It was almost like being on like a dating show where they kind of like speed up the process of dating from like 0 to 100.
It's like Love Island, but just the two of
Yeah,
you.
just yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty much what it was. It was just like, okay, now real life hits.
Yeah.
Like this is what you're dealing with. This is like all like the, flowers and butterflies and stuff. It's like gone. And it's like, this is what life would be like with each other. And
Yeah.
again, he's not a bad person, but we just it became very apparent that we just wanted two different things,
Right.
And I think that was like a big lesson for me, just to be like, okay, next time when I get involved with somebody, I really need to pace the relationship, like go slower
Yeah.
and always again keep my
Your own thing going.
as like number one. you know, because you can't really show up for somebody else.
Absolutely.
If you don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
with
that's
my
like
life.
very good that you came to that
Yeah.
term on your own too. And you didn't take like some messy breakup where then
No.
you're like, well, who am I? I don't know what I want anymore. Like it's a
Yeah.
good thing that while you're in the relationship, you're like, what happened to this thing I used to love and this person I
Exactly.
used to hang out with? Like,
Yeah, no, for
that's
sure.
tough.
Oh my gosh. Crazy. I cannot even imagine being in a 2-year relationship.
Yeah.
Like, is like, what's your mindset at that point? Also, like, sorry, I could get so deep into this, just like a relationship in general, because my body's not familiar with that, or my brain. But like, what, like in that moment where you're like, okay, this isn't working after 2 years,
Yeah.
like, is it panic? Is it stress? Is it anxiety? Like, where's your mind at with that?
Yeah, it was more so like the last 6 months of it that like I had mentally checked out, and he kind of knew that, but it's hard to like undo everything again when you're living together. That was like, and I have so much stuff. I'm like, oh my God, just like the idea of kind of undoing the whole unity, like living and the stuff we had built was just like overwhelming. And I'm like, you start to justify like, was it really this bad? Like he's a good guy. He's like not you know what I mean? You're like, but then you're like, but I'm not happy. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
it kind of takes like a lot of just, you have to just be like, I just know that there's like something better on the other side of this.
Yeah.
And just because he's a good person and a good catch and stuff doesn't mean he's like good for me.
Yeah,
You know, doesn't mean
totally.
he's the best for me.
100%.
So, yeah.
And sometimes you meet people like that, date people like that, just to learn that lesson and like
Yes.
kind of realize like, I mean, it's what everyone always says too. You can love someone so much and it can still not be right or still not feel
Yeah.
right. And like pretty much 10 times out of 10, once you make that decision, you're much better off and so
Yeah.
much happier. And like, you're never really going to look back and be like, I wish I didn't do that. And if you did, then you're an adult. You can go back and have that
Yeah.
conversation with that person, but you're way more likely to remain unhappy if
For
you stay
sure.
there and don't make that move.
And it's like, I think everybody deserves to have their dream life. Like he maybe wants a stay-at-home girlfriend, and that's fine. He'll find that. And I want somebody who wants me to be independent and go make my own money, and I deserve that.
Yeah.
And it's like we both deserve to have our happiest life, but that life can't be together.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it has to, like, there's this fork in the road. But I think either one of us should never have to compromise. Like, why should he not have
Totally.
that, and why should I not have that?
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
So, yeah.
Was it like a mutual understanding, like when you guys?
yeah. It
like-
was, we both knew. It was just like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, we got to just figure this out.
That makes so much sense. Like 2 years after COVID starts, that like things
Yeah.
are reopening. So like you're like reopening your love life.
Everything.
It's like, let's re-look at this from
Yeah.
a different lens, and is this working? And it wasn't. And I
Yeah.
think that's like beautiful in itself that you were able to like find
Yeah.
that.
It was like a very adult kind of
Yeah,
Yeah.
moment, you know.
very mature.
All right, you totally don't have to answer this if you don't want to. But what were like the red flags when you at that 6-month mark when you saw the relationship kind of like dwindling?
I don't know if there was like really red flags, but when I moved down there, it was like his entire, like his family, his friends, his life and everything. And I was just so far removed from my life that I felt like, oh my God, like, you know, my girlfriends couldn't even really come down to visit me because it's almost 3 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
So it just became very apparent that this was going to be a very, I don't want to say a one-sided relationship, but it was hard, you know, like
Yeah.
kind of feeling like you're leaving, even though it's not that far from LA to San Diego, like I'm making it sound like it's a different country, but it was, it was definitely like a big adjustment from everything. And plus LA is just so different from any other area basically in California, because it's like the entertainment, like everything is heavy here with like
Right.
creatives and stuff. Where in San Diego, there's like mostly 9 to 5s. And
it's
for
so
us,
lax.
yeah, exactly. So it was like a big change for sure.
Yeah,
Totally.
more of like a what's the word, intuition instead of a red flag.
Yeah.
More like,
Right.
and like I always compare it sometimes, like what you're saying. I'm always like, I feel like someone's +1, and you should never feel like
Yeah.
someone's +1 in a
No.
relationship.
Never.
Like, you know, you're around all their friends and all their whatever, which is fun for like a night to be
Yeah.
someone's +1, but like for life, like I'm living with you, and
No,
this
for
is I'm just
sure.
gonna like be in your life, and I don't feel a part of it. Like that's a gut feeling for sure to be like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Did it get to the point where he was like meeting your family, like probably over FaceTime or something, anything
No,
like that?
my family's all in Pennsylvania, but that's like another thing. Like the ones I was just like, I was telling him a story about my parents, and I'm like, do you even know like my mom's name or something? I forget. It was something like that. He's like, you didn't ever tell me. I'm like, no, I've told you a lot of times. And it was just things like that I was just like, he's just all about his life.
Because you're there and you're present with his life and his family, that it's like, oh, well, yours doesn't really matter. I forgot. What's your mom's name again? She's not here. She's not physically here.
No,
So
exactly. And I was just like, this is like, I'm not used to this, you know?
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be like this.
I don't mean to go full therapist mode, but like I'm just like I'm
But
like
I'm
thinking about
about
it.
she's like, Mackenzie and David never talked to me this much.
No, because I'm just thinking like I wonder if like you making that dramatic change to your life to like I'm gonna go move to like San Diego to be with closer to where you were, and like that was him taking like a mental note of like, oh, she's coming to me, like this is about me, like I am the like center of her world in a way, whereas like that was never the case and you were doing that as a kind person.
But also again, us just talking about your life while you're on camera and you're like, but your life is so full of like going to events and like doing stuff like you said. So like he might, to Gianni's point, like have thought that that's like what life was going to be like. Like he might have not known all that you have to offer because during COVID there wasn't like your job and your whole life was basically like like I couldn't like influencers in general, like everyone's whole life is like these events and pictures and going places, and you know
It's like
you couldn't do anything, like you're just sitting at home being like, okay, when's my turn again to like
exactly.
So it's not necessarily like, oh, it was just you being nice. It was just like that was your circumstances at the time, like it was just what you had to kind of do, because otherwise you're just sitting at home like by yourself if you're not moving to San Diego to like, you know. What
we do for love.
Because what's the other option? Like again, you're like, I could go be happy and try this out and like, you know, see what happens, and it could be great. Or I could just like sit at home and play my Nintendo Switch for another month and wait until the world opens again. Like,
Jen, I guarantee you a Nintendo Switch is only relatable to you in this room.
In this room,
I know,
bitch.
I'm like,
there are
I don't
several
think that was
listeners.
Abigail's
I literally
like,
bought my Nintendo Switch,
Like, totally,
during
yeah, I
COVID
saw
because I was like, what else am I going to do other than play Mario Kart?
Was the COVID move.
It literally was. I needed to play Mario Kart in that moment.
Oh my God.
And I had never like wanted a video game system, and I'm like, I need to play Mario Kart right now.
Oh
I
my
asked my
God.
mom to send me my old Wii. Anyways,
Wait, that's a perfect segue for a question I want to ask Abigail.
what's your favorite Nintendo Switch game? No, just kidding.
Oh my God, I'm literally gonna leave this room. I'm like, I'm gay. I don't know how to game.
Oh my God.
Okay, so post breakup, like, what was your go-to thing to do to kind of get you out of that mindset? Like, where did you, I guess, go-to thing to do, but also like, did you pick up a hobby, a passion, or anything to kind of reset you?
Yeah, so when we broke up, it was like Thanksgiving around like last year. Yeah, last year or last year, not like 2 months ago.
Okay. Oh my God, I forgot that was 2 months ago.
I know. And we kind of had already talked like, should we wait till like after the holidays to do this? And I'm like, let's just honestly, we have to just start the process. Like, let's not, you know, delay this any longer. So I moved out of the house. I began moving out in November, and it took so long. And then my new house that I live in now, he helped me like get all set up with it and stuff. But I couldn't move into there until February. So I had this other apartment up in Beverly Hills that I was just like staying at pretty much in between. And then there was like a 6 to 8 week gap where we were kind of just still talking every day. And then finally I was just like, we have to just stop talking. Like, we have to just both go through this. And I know like neither of us really wanted to face that like level of knowing that it's over, because we were kind of just still holding on to like the friendship part, and we're like, we need to just stop speaking. Like, we have to go no contact for 2 months at least. You know, one day down the road we could be friends, but right now it's just we just can't do it. So then, we just stopped talking. We both blocked each other on everything. And then
to go from like, we wanted to keep up with the friendship to like, so then we blocked each other on everything.
I had an ex that I did that with, and like, because it was the same thing together for 2 years. We talked like every day for the next 6 months, and then I was like, oh my God, if we don't go no contact, like,
everyone
weird,
says
like,
that
thing is never gonna end.
It's never gonna
Blocked
end.
each other and everything, and now we're friends again.
Yeah.
There you go.
Everyone says that that's like just the no
The way to
contact
go.
for
Have to not talk
until
to
you
them.
know, like you'll know. when
Yeah.
it's time.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's basically what I did. And then people handle breakups differently. Like
So
my
true.
girlfriend's like, we got to go out. Like, let's like meet guys. And I'm like, for me, it's like guys are never an issue. You know what I mean? So it's more like, no, what I want to do is I want to just focus 1,000,000% on myself. The last thing I want to do is like get involved with somebody else. And even like, I feel like no matter what, you have to go through the pain of it. So if you just distract yourself with like a rebound, eventually you're going to just still, no matter what, you're going to have to deal with the hard part of the breakup. You know, you can only kind of distract yourself for so long. So I like to deal with the hard part in the beginning, cry, grieve, journal, be like, what did I learn from this? What like lessons am I bringing out of this, like into my next, you know, whenever that may be, relationship? What do I really want to focus on this year? Blah, blah, blah. And then when you're ready, I think you should date other people. But for me, it's like, why would I want to bring in like an innocent person just to like distract me?
Yeah.
Because what if that person ends up like catching feelings and then I have to be like, listen, you were just like a, you know what I mean? Like it's like, it's not fair to them. Like I don't want to be like an asshole.
It's sad
You
for
know?
them. Also,
Yeah.
they're like, I have a theory that they're taking your energy. Like that energy that you want to focus on channeling to yourself and getting yourself in a really good spot and feeling great about yourself. Like you're just giving that away to like a hookup.
Yeah.
And then if you just keep doing that,
Exactly.
you're left with nothing.
And then a lot of the time when people like, they don't have their correct goggles on, you could smell somebody who's on the rebound like right away. They're just like aggressive. They're just trying to move everything along so quickly, like, you know, and then I feel like, it's just, I don't know. It's just not good to just rush into anything because then sometimes it backfires and then you end up missing your ex even more because you're like, these people suck. These are all fuckboys that I've been going on these dates with. It's like, of course you're going on dates with fuckboys because you don't have the right, you're not seeing things from like a clear head. You're seeing things as like, I want to get myself back out there and prove that I'm still hot and I still have it. But then you just like, you don't think straight. And then you're just left feeling like empty, like, you know, maybe he wasn't that bad. Like compared to these last 4 dates I met on Hinge. Like it's like, you know, so I think it's better to just kind of pace yourself, deal with it, like then think like, okay, what am I looking for in the next person that I date and have like your list of, you know, non-negotiables, all that stuff. And then you could kind of weed out your potential options with like a clear lens.
Oh my God. You just said, you just said two things that like made me think of two questions, but I do want to get into like the questions we actually have for you because we're now in 31 minutes and like you're just saying so many things that are interesting to me. But
This is a good episode.
Right?
I'm intrigued.
So you mentioned fuckboys. First question. What do you like? Where do you go to avoid fuckboys? Is there like a dating app that's better for no fuckboys or?
I've actually never been on a dating app.
Ooh, okay, slay girl.
Usually if I meet somebody, it's like through someone who knows them.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
100%.
It's like, hey, like this guy that I know, he's friends with like my boyfriend or whatever, like he wants to, because most of my friends that would maybe approach me from that angle, I would kind of trust their judgment because they don't try to like set me up often.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't do the dating app thing.
Okay, good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like even back when I was on dating apps, it back in the day.
She's like last week.
Literally, it still helps to be like to see who you have mutual friends with, and to like if someone's like, oh, I know that guy, like we went to college together, or whatever it is, like you just feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So in general, just even if it's a blind date situation, which in this day and age there are no blind dates because of social media.
Yeah.
But even if it's that sort of situation, like you said, there's more trust there because someone who you trust is like making that connection and bringing you around them. And obviously you trust their opinion. Yeah. And like if it doesn't work out, then it's like not as awkward. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because you have
that's so true.
some mutual people.
And it leads you to like less ghosting too because there's like that sense of like community and like, oh, like I can't ghost you and like be shitty to you because we have these people in common and then like I don't want that reputation.
Yeah. You're friends with my bestie.
Yeah, exactly. So it's better than like meeting someone off.
I'm literally thinking of situations where I got ghosted and then the mutual person had to be like, why did you ghost Jenna? And it was the whole thing. I'm like, that still doesn't take away that part, girl.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Okay, so
I'm like, Abigail's never been ghosted. Let's be serious.
I know, there's no fucking way.
She's doing the ghosting.
Okay, so to end on not like a bad note about ghosting, my second question was, do you feel like you're journaling, you're manifesting of like, okay, this is what I want. Okay. Because so many people have told me you need to write out everything you want in a guy and like put it in a journal, manifest it, and that person will come to you. Do you feel like that's worked for you?
I don't. I feel like my last 2 serious relationships were pretty close to like what I'm looking for, but there was like a big. I love traveling. That's like extremely important to me, and my ex does not really like traveling.
All right, now let's get into the questions.
Okay.
I think these came from your Instagram, yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
I mean, some of these we like kind of touched on in our questions too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I mean, the first one, which if there's any more you want to say on this, was it hard keeping your own identity in a relationship? So obviously that's kind of what we spoke about a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's like any like kind of spin-off question I can ask with that. Like, I mean, I guess we pretty much covered that. We can probably just move on.
Yeah.
But, okay. I mean, again, we've kind of talked about this too.
No, but this is a good one to be like, okay, step by step, like what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the first question that comes from your Instagram is what was your best way to recover after a breakup?
Again, I think you just need to kind of almost give yourself like deadlines, because we have this idea of like a girl crying on the couch, eating like a pint of ice cream and wallowing in self-pity, and like that's normal, but be like, okay, this first week after it, I'm going to just like do whatever I want. I'm going to drink a bottle of wine every 4 hours. I'm going to eat ice cream, watch movie, cry, but be like, I'm only giving myself 7 days. Like next Monday, that's when I'm going to start like, working out, eating healthy. And even though you might still be sad, you're kind of feeling like there's like an end. There's like a light at the end of the tunnel, not just like, when is this going to like stop? Because you're still going to be sad.
Always gonna
but
be
if you
sad.
kind of have to like see yourself from like a third person and be like, all right, we got to like just stay on schedule and you'll get through this. And there's like stages like sadness, anger, whatever. It's like the stages
Totally.
of grief.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And to not speak to them and do the no contact
that's the
thing,
most
because I feel like that kind of go like you can't have the stage of grief because you're not grieving something if you're still talking to them every day. And I believe that's the denial stage of being like, we're still talking every day, this is not a breakup, but I've got to say that's probably up there.
And then
Totally.
like another thing that I realized that was really helpful is like think of the time right before you met them. Because sometimes we're like, oh my God, what is my life like without this person? Because you become so enmeshed with each other that you're like, I can't even remember like life before them. But it's like sometimes just journal and be like, I had a full life before this person, and I'll have a full life after them. And even though you can't imagine that future life, you just have to trust the process. Like there was a whole full life of people, experiences before you even knew this person existed.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to things that like made you happy then. And like you said, a big part of your last relationship was that you didn't get to do the things that you wanted to do, or maybe hang out with the people you wanted to hang out with so much. And like, you can kind of think about those things almost like journaling. I think a lot of people too, you mentioned journaling and you mentioned journaling, but like what you can write down. People are like, I don't know what to do. Literally, like I'll just be like, what did I like? What makes me happy? Like literally, what brings me serotonin? Even if it's something I remember from like my childhood, like write it down and then find something that you can do present day that brings you that same joy. And like, I love that.
And like write down, like think of everything that you're going to be gaining with being single. Like I'm gonna have time to watch all my shows that this person hated. I'm gonna have time to like work out and focus on me and go do all this stuff where I'm not gonna be just attached to this person's hip. Like think about everything you're going to gain, and it kind of helps you just see through the mess.
Totally.
That's the aftermath of it a little bit.
Oh my God. I loved that. That was so elevated.
So elevated.
So
No,
elevated.
like literally it was like, I'm like taking a lot of this advice right now.
Yeah.
No tea, no shade to the man out there.
But a lot of it is relationship advice too. Like, I think people who are listening who are going through a breakup can learn from this. And I also think people who are in a healthy, happy relationship can learn from this, because I think so many people who think they're in a happy, healthy relationship don't realize how much of themselves that they've given up for that.
Or
and I think,
lost.
or lost without even realizing it, like consciously. And I think that's like a very, very important, like I always tell people, like I'm in a long distance relationship and obviously that sucks, don't get me wrong, but you are still your own person and you're able to then, like when you are able to then live your life together with that person, you're able to be like, yo, I'm my full self and I still love you and I like you, but you have your own separate life. And, you know, whatever works for some people. But I think this is beneficial for like everyone listening, whether or not you're in a relationship.
Sure.
That like brings us to our next question. It's literally, what advice do you give to friends going through a breakup? And I'm going to switch up this question because obviously
It's repetitive.
we gave a lot of advice, but like, what is like top 3 things you would say never do to your friends that are going through a breakup?
Don't keep in touch, for sure. Don't stalk their social media from like Finstas.
That's a good one.
Because obviously everyone kind of makes their life look amazing. Nobody's going to be posting sad, cryptic things about like heartbreak and stuff. So while you're home dealing with it and then you see like, oh, they're out having fun without me. And it's like people have different ways of dealing with things. Some people like to distract themselves. Some people like to kind of lean into like the
And they're probably
pain.
posting that so that you see it and go, oh, they're so moved on.
Yeah. And then you think, oh my God, something's wrong with me. They just replaced me so quickly. And then you start looking at their following list and you just go down a rabbit hole. And then you're like, I'm supposed to be focusing on me right now. And I'm just spending more time on this person that's part of my past. And like the longer you entertain that, it just becomes, you're just giving more time to this relationship, even though it's over.
Right.
Because you're still holding on to somebody that's no longer part of your future, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like, you can't do that. You gotta
No,
just,
literally.
whatever they do, whoever they're with, it's like no longer concerns you.
Yeah.
You know?
What you said about avoiding social media is so
Yeah.
true. Have you guys ever been on an ex's close friends story still?
No.
After a breakup? It
no.
is debilitating. Like the temptation of like wanting to click on that close friend story, knowing
God.
that it's probably like 50 or less people and they will see that you watch their close friend story and it's just like, oh, I want to click it so bad, but I know I shouldn't.
Okay,
Anyway.
the thing about that though is that some people are cuckoo and do like, I'm going to add just my ex to my close friends and post this like super hot photo so that they think, well, who else is getting to see this super hot photo? No. And no,
God.
really, it's just you. It's just like, and it's people like social media is ruining the world. Us as we do this podcast.
I know.
Coming from your favorite talent managers that we ever friends.
You can quote me on that. Please don't.
Please don't. We're a little tipsy from the champagne. Anyway, next question. This is such an interesting one, and I feel like we could talk about this for hours, but we will try to do our best and not talk as much as we've already done. Do you believe in getting closure? And what does closure mean to you?
So I have gone back and forth with this, obviously. Again, luckily in my relationship, it was like closure for both of us. We both kind of knew what we wanted, but I know that there have been different, maybe like with my girlfriends and stuff, maybe even some of mine in the past. I can't really remember like some of them, but sometimes if it just ends abruptly, you have like this lingering, because I read this quote once that said like, we only obsess over like unfinished, whatever it is, relationships or everything. Like we obsess over things that aren't complete kind of. And I feel like closure and the idea of closure kind of plays into like human insecurities and our ego and our need to feel validated. And it's like, what is the closure? Like if you got cheated on, like why was she better than me? What made you so unhappy that you did that? Or if somebody just ghosted you, like, you know, I wasn't even worthy of a goodbye call or a goodbye text or email. It's like we seek this like this final say from people, but like you have to kind of give it to yourself, because even if they do give it to you, you still will probably want more. Like even if they're like, listen, I just wasn't happy, it wasn't you, it's me, whatever, you'll be like, okay, like that's closure. And then you'll be like dwelling on it, like, well, wait, like why, you know, let's expand on that. And no matter what, you'll just be grasping for more and more straws that I feel like people just in general.
What is it about me?
Like you'll keep kind of digging deeper into that hole. And it's like, sometimes you just have to give closure to yourself, you know?
I think it's circumstantial too, because like how you said in your relationship, maybe he's a good guy. It's not like he cheated. It's not like you guys don't get along, like this and that. It was just genuinely like a time and place, this isn't really working kind of thing. Yeah. And in that case, I feel like, sure, you can have closure because especially in those cases, you're probably both pretty mature if you're both still getting along. hopefully one person isn't like, what? I didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
But I just think like, yeah, it is very circumstantial. I think in the case of like somebody cheating or something really horrible happening, it's like, just kind of move on and take the L. And
like there's definitely some situations where if somebody like abruptly leaves their partner for somebody else out of nowhere and you're like blindsided, like you're probably like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Just for peace of mind, like, hey, can we at least have a convo about this? Like, I just need something.
Totally. So it definitely is circumstantial for sure.
Totally.
Okay, cool. So next question, which we kind of touched on a little bit, but you've already kind of given your stance, is have you ever stayed in a relationship after being mentally done?
Yeah, I think probably my last one, just because we lived together, so it wasn't like, it was just very hard, again, to like uncouple everything and moving into a new place and just undoing all of the stuff that we had done together. So that was probably the longest I've stayed after, but usually when I make up my mind about something, it's like, it's kind of, it's hard for me to go back.
You're an Aquarius.
That's
you can't.
sign.
Now that I know you're an Aquarius, I'm like, you can't hide what you're feeling.
So much more sense now.
That's actually amazing. And I think too, like this question being worded mentally done is, I think, like kind of important, because I think sometimes you're like you said, like maybe I'm not happy, but like what is happiness anyway? Like you kind of like go through all that, but once in your own head, you're like, no, I'm done. Like you're done. Especially now that I know you're an Aquarius. I'm like, yep. Once you're done, you're done.
And also, like, I don't like to ever lead people on, whether that's new people,
so nice of you.
new people, or even like existing relationships. Like if I know that I'm done, I don't like to be like affectionate anymore. You know, it's like there's like a switch that just goes.
Because that's fake. And again, you're an Aquarius girly, and you can't be fake. Like you can't. It's hard to like lie, especially when it comes to actual feelings and like telling someone you love them. Like that's huge.
Yeah, it's like you feel like you're like cringing.
Yeah.
Have you ever been broken up with? Which I cannot imagine anyone ever breaking up with you, but
I don't think.
Speak your truth.
Like me either. I can never imagine it.
No, I don't think like a serious breakup. Maybe like if you have like an on and off person and you're like arguing with them and they're like, I can't take this anymore, we're done. But it's like one of those like 24-hour things.
Yeah.
That probably happened to me, but it never like a permanent breakup.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah.
Do you feel like they are mostly like mutual breakups?
Yeah.
Or well, that's good.
Yeah.
Shows
I love
maturity.
that. I feel like that's when you know, it's like when both parties are like, ooh,
like good people.
Yeah.
Because you know you don't want to hurt like the other person. Again, if no like cheating or hurting or anything intentional is involved, most of the time you're just like, I'm so sorry, I'm not happy, like you're the best, but we're just not great together. And I think that's a very telling thing, because it shows how much you like value and respect the other person. Yeah.
Exactly.
And yourself.
Yeah.
okay, amazing. Do you believe in therapy for breakups?
Yes, I definitely do. I actually have never gotten a therapist for therapy. Like last year, I was just reading a ton of books and websites and stuff, but I for sure would do that, because I think like sometimes your friends and your family, obviously they're trying to kind of maybe give you like stuff that you want to hear, and sometimes it's nice to just hear somebody's opinion that has like no knowledge of you, your ex, anything, and it's just like very, you know, direct,
brutal honesty.
Help you see things like clearly. So I'm all for therapy.
Totally. And it can affect your mental health as well if you like let yourself believe certain like, oh, I'm not good enough and and like you can literally develop depression based on a breakup, because you just put all this like junk in your head that isn't true.
Yeah.
It's
and then
no, you go.
No, I was gonna say, and obviously like there's different situations, like if somebody cheats on you and stuff, then the person's like the villain, but there's a lot of times where we kind of like make ourselves into a victim, and I feel like the longer we hold on to like the victim mentality, it's harder for us to heal, you know, instead of being like, my ex is like the worst person in the world. Like sometimes it's good to just be like, listen, we just weren't meant to be. And it's easier because I feel like feeling hate is like an even stronger emotion than love. Like they say, like the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Like when you get to a point where you really don't have like passion and hate and disgust towards your ex, I feel like you know that the love isn't there anymore, because if you still feel anger and heated and all this stuff, you know that it's just like love bottled up and hurt kind of. So when you reach that point of just like, you know, it is what it is. So So I think sometimes get yourself like out of that victim mentality, because you'll just keep replaying that over and over again, and you'll start to feel like helpless, like, why did this happen to me? And I feel like once you take that power back and be like, listen, it wasn't him, it wasn't me, we just, our paths, you know, we were only meant to be in each other's lives for like a chapter, not like the whole book, and that's it. And that kind of helps you get your power back.
I love that.
I know. I love that. And I have like a little note on that too, which I'm sure like everyone's heard, because it's like therapy 101, and also kind of like breakup 101. But the advice of talking to yourself the way you would your best friend if they were going through the same thing. Because like everything you just said is so hard to say to yourself. Like, listen, you're still lovable. You're still a hot ass bitch. Like, you still have all these things going for you. That's hard to do, but you know you'd say that to your best friend in a heartbeat. Like, you would say that a million times. So I feel like that's like the best advice I've ever learned in terms of self-love after being hurt, or you know, whatever. If you're not getting that validation from a significant other anymore, or maybe again you can't like afford therapy, or don't have you know, whatever, just talk to yourself in that way, that like you're your own best friend. I love that advice.
I love that for sure.
Also, I really want to go back to that tea question, but frame it differently. Has an ex ever tried to get back at you, or successfully gotten back at you?
Probably like back in like, I don't even know. None of my recent ones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's gonna go viral on Snapchat?
I hear so many. I know. I hear so many stories of like he posted my number on Craigslist and said I was giving away puppies, and or like there was someone I knew whose ex like posted their number during Coachella to be like giving away Coachella tickets.
Oh my
like,
God.
Men are
That's
crazy.
just, like, petty.
Let me.
That's
Straight
funny.
men are crazy. Well, actually, there's a lot of crazy gay men too.
Oh wait,
but mostly
actually, I helped one of my friends get back at her ex once.
I need to know.
Pray
everything.
tell.
So we put an ad on Craigslist that he was selling a PlayStation whatever for like a really cheap price, and we gave his work phone and his cell phone and all this stuff. So his phone was just ringing. They're like, "Hey, we're calling for whatever. We heard about this PlayStation," and he's like, "What?" And they would just call his office all day long.
Most innocent prank,
like,
but it's so
kind of
funny.
Inconvenience him like for like a little bit, because he inconvenienced your life for like a week. Yeah,
That's harmless.
It is
no,
harmless.
it's harmless, but it's like
But
funny.
it's so
Yeah.
annoying
There's
to
no way
them.
for them to like tie it to her.
Yeah.
As long as you're not like getting them in trouble with the
No,
law.
no.
That's
That's not
fine.
good. No. I
Yeah.
feel like that's like bad karma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm such a believer in karma, by the
Yeah.
way. So I agree with that.
100%.
Yeah.
The universe will always take care
For
of it.
sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So do you prefer being single or in a relationship, and why?
I honestly prefer being single. I always have. And it's not even like because I'm like, oh, I want to, you know, go hook up with like a million guys. Like that's not even my style. But it really is like I really do like my freedom and just having my freedom of schedule. Like if I want to sleep in late, you know, and I'm not answering the phone. I don't want somebody to be like, where were you till 3 p.m? I'd be like, I was actually sleeping.
It's like someone to answer to constantly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really do like kind of that just flexible, like being able to kind of watch whatever I want to watch. If I want to watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for 12 hours, you're not going to be like complaining, you know?
Absolutely.
Miss Independent. I love
Yeah.
it.
Aquarius
I know, I was gonna
queen.
say,
I'm
definitely
telling
Aquarius
you.
for
Now that I know, I'm like, it makes
Yeah.
so much sense. I was that way in like high school. I remember being like, why would I like have a boyfriend that like I had to check, like when someone would ask me to do something, I would be like, oh, like let me just see if I'm hanging out with my boyfriend that day. Like, ew.
I know.
No. What? Okay, sorry.
Seriously.
Oh my God. So I think there's, I'm like trying to bring us back. There's one more question, and then there's our red flags game, which I'm really excited for.
Okay.
But have you ever gotten back together with an ex?
Yes. Like I had one of my relationships before I had moved to LA was like the most on and off toxic relationship for like 3 years. And it was just like every single time we broke up, it would be for longer. It would be for like 2 weeks, then like 2 months. Then finally I was just like, what the hell are we even doing?
Yeah.
And neither of us wanted to like, you know, completely sever ties, but it was just like, oh my God, it was such a energy drainer. And we both, like now we're friends and we could laugh about it. But at the time we're like, this is the last time, we swear. Like we're never getting back. And then like, again, it would be a couple months later. And I feel like now I would never do that because it's just such a waste of time.
The no contact rule.
Yeah.
You didn't imply it yet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know that. I didn't know about it at that time.
Dude, that just came so full circle. That was
I know.
crazy.
You really did, and that's why you don't keep in contact with exes.
Oh my God.
So we just have a couple different prompts, and yeah, I guess you just can basically say smash or pass. These are all different red flag prompts.
No, these are so good.
So the first one is you meet a guy, he checks all your boxes, but he's friends with all of his exes.
Pass. Well, I mean, so pass means no, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends.
Wait, let's dig deep into this
What
one.
type of
Yeah.
friends?
Yeah, like,
What level of friendship
are they
we
like
talking
besties
Yeah.
from childhood? Did they like match on a dating app at one point and then become
Right.
friends?
Yeah.
Like,
But even still, like imagine you're going to his birthday party and like
Like his ex-
several other females are there that he
Yeah.
has been romantically and
Well, if
sexually
anything, I
involved
would
with.
prefer that he's friends with all of them because if he was only friends with like one, I'd be like, this is a little weird. If
okay.
he's friends with all of them,
It means he's a good person.
Maybe he just doesn't like drama and kind of just, it is what it is. But if he hates like all of them except for maybe like one,
He has 15 exes, but he's
Yeah.
friends with every single one.
It's hard because it's almost like, is he a little too Switzerland? Like,
Yeah.
Is he a little too neutral?
Yeah.
With things. I don't know.
True.
I don't know. That's
we'd
a
have
hard
to
one.
maybe get some more details on these.
Yeah. Like, we need more
We're going to give a
Yeah.
soft pass to that guy. Soft pass, contextual pass.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my God, this one's so much easier. Actually, I don't know. Okay, he's 80, but his net worth is over 30 million.
But he's 80 years old.
I mean, how much of that is he willing to spend on me though?
Right, and how
Yeah.
close
Well,
is
if
he to
he's
dying?
80,
How are we gonna get that will?
Right, like
then I think it's a smash.
if we smash,
Yeah.
are we in the will?
Yeah, if we smash over
I mean, if you're past, you're definitely not.
And
So
like, what is the level of smashing that we need to do?
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Can he still smash?
Can
is the
he
question.
smash? Yeah.
I don't even know if you'd want it, but anyway, we'll give him a soft smash.
Okay. Soft smash for the soft
Soft
smash for
smash.
this guy, soft pass
pass
for the first guy.
Yeah.
Okay, your third prompt is
Okay.
he is a famous NBA player, but he's 5'5".
So I would say pass, but
Which,
not,
like,
not
which famous
because of
NBA
his height. Not because of his height, because I wouldn't want to date somebody who's a famous NBA player. I don't care about the shortness.
Yes.
Cool.
I agree
Yeah.
with that answer. I
Yeah.
agree with that answer.
Love that.
Okay, good for you. Pop off. All right, he is a bad communicator, but he's empathetic.
I mean,
That doesn't
He
mean
understands how you're
like an
feeling, but he won't
oxymoron.
tell you that he
Yeah.
gives a shit.
probably smash. I mean, pass. Or
Okay.
smash. Smash. Smash is a good one, right?
Yeah.
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 Like he sucks at communicating,
It's a
but at
soft
least he has
smash.
like the emotion of feeling.
Yeah, like
empathetic
Right.
could
and,
he
like, knowing
learn
what's
to
going
be
on.
like more open with his feelings? Probably.
Yes.
Is he teachable?
Is he teachable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smash and I'll change him.
Yeah.
But the thing is like right now they cancel out because if you can't communicate your empathy, then like
Right,
what's the point?
exactly.
Yeah.
But everyone can learn here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this question was he is a billionaire, but he wants an open relationship, and I know how I feel.
I would say smash as long as it's open both ways. Like
Okay.
it's open, not like I can't, be with other people, but you get to be with all these girls. Like if it's open, then we're both gonna be able to do whatever we want.
Okay, pop
No,
off.
and like I would know I'm not gonna end up with this person. But
Right.
for like, 6 months to a year, maybe just get whatever you can, help them like invest in one of your businesses,
Hell
do
yeah.
whatever, and then be like,
Love the
"See
way
ya."
your mind works.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
not to derail from the game, but have you ever been in an open relationship?
No,
Go off, sis.
Do you think you could?
no,
Me either.
Me too, girl.
no,
Absolutely not.
no
Oh,
way.
we should do an episode on open
I love
relationships.
monogamy.
That would be interesting.
Number
Me
one
too.
monogamy stand.
I've never cheated on anyone. I physically like can't do it.
I just don't get it. Like I'm like, dude, then break up. Like you're clearly.
Yeah.
We'll do a separate episode on cheating.
Yeah, no, literally.
I know.
Okay, the next one is he is a perfect boyfriend, but does not click with your friends or family. But is great to you.
I don't know. I would say probably like soft pass. Like, could he be?
Could you change him?
Yeah, could you change him? I guess
Everything's a soft pass when you can change
Yeah.
anyone.
Based-
The thing is like, I know they say not to change people, but I fully believe people can change, and you should change people.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a hot take.
What?
All right, that's a really hot
And you
take.
can quote him on that.
I feel like you can't change like the basis of somebody is like their
Right.
like, you know, foundation of who they are. Yeah. But there's things you could maybe change or alter. Like, and there's also people sometimes go through phases. You have to be like, is this a phase or is this really your character? Are you out partying all the time now because you're 25 years old? Or are you just an alcoholic and you're never going to change and grow out of it? You're going to be the same way when you're 45. Because there are some people that just go through phases based on life, you know, whatever. Yeah. And then some that just, that's who they are at the core and they'll never, you know, change. So.
Right. It's like you have to be on high alert because like those are things that you'll pick up on as you like are in a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's
For
like,
sure.
because if they can change, there's potential there.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So you are in love, but he doesn't remember things like your anniversary or your birthday. Sounds familiar.
Yeah. I don't know. I would probably say pass.
Honestly, I agree with that one.
How in love are you if you don't remember my birthday?
Yeah.
If
Like,
you don't remember our anniversary. Like,
This
if
is
you're
making
in
me think
love.
of
Yeah.
2-year guy that didn't remember your
Family's
mom's name.
Yeah.
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 But it's
That's
like you're not like it just shows lack of like
Yeah.
care, and like also it's like, are you inquiring about my life like at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, no, for sure.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Love that.
The next one is he is a famous actor with good morals, but he, quote, sold his soul to Hollywood.
Illuminati question mark?
Yeah.
So I think like to rephrase, it's like he is very famous, he's a successful actor, and he has good morals. He's like a good person, but he is like completely wrapped up in the Hollywood entertainment scene. That's like his whole life. That's kind of like where his rest of his life's gonna lie.
I mean, I guess it would depend on like what the definition of sold his soul to Hollywood is. Like,
You're like, if he literally did, how much? No.
because like I feel like somebody's character is really, really important. And like if somebody makes decisions based on opportunities over based on their like moral compass, then it's not somebody that you really want to be involved with like long term kind of, you know? But it's like if they, you know, maybe just left somebody that they were working with prior to like get like a better opportunity, like is that really that bad? You know? But if they like screwed over somebody that they were close to kind of like go up in the rankings, then that's not somebody that I would really want to
Which
be.
I feel like is the definition of selling your soul
Yeah,
to
that's
Hollywood.
what I
Is
mean.
like, what can I do to get further?
Yeah.
He has a private jet, but he wants his parents to move in with you both.
That's a hard pass.
Hard pass.
No.
Literal firm pass on that.
Yeah, no way. Like, I feel like somebody's family is important, but like the second that you are like a mama's boy or like just like, I don't know, that's such a turn off to me. Yeah.
Like if you can treat your mother really well,
Yeah.
but if you're like, my mom is gonna sleep
Move
in
in
bed
with
between
us?
us, like
No.
that's ew.
TLC's I Love a Mama's Boy.
Oh my god.
That show is insane.
Oh my God.
Oh, well.
Okay, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode of On Air, where we navigated the dark and depressing world of breakups. I hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day, and I will talk to you guys soon.